Hello, everybody. My name's Kyle. This is the second interview for CRE number two, and I'm here again with my friend Cole, interviewing him on the questions this week. The first question I got for you, Cole, is what do you think happens after we die?
Well, it depends. You can either go to heaven or you can go to hell.
Okay, so I guess where does that belief come from? I would assume that's your religion.
Yes, I am of the Christian faith.
Awesome. So you do believe in a heaven and a hell. What is heaven? What does hell look like?
So hell is straight under, and it's nothing but pain and suffering. Heaven is up above with Jesus, and basically, it's anything that would be considered amazing to you.
Okay, so your idea of like heaven is like kind of like it's different for each person, or
Yeah,
okay, okay,
I mean,
and
granted, it's all in the same space, but like it's hard to explain because we literally, like, as humans, cannot
fathom it.
comprehend. We cannot comprehend or fathom it. Yeah.
Okay. Um, so and then like what's kind of a visual representation for you of like what hell would look like?
Fire and burning, I guess, and
Fire and
pain and
burning.
yeah,
Fair enough.
eternal pain.
All right. So does that mean for you like that everybody that goes to heaven is a Christian, or are there other people like are there other ways you can attain the ability to get to heaven, or is it just one path? Christianity is the only way.
It's not necessarily that it's Christianity. It is just that you have to basically accept that Jesus Christ died on the cross for your sins and that he has already forgiven you. Once the forgiveness is already there. There's nothing that you really have to do. You just have to accept that he has forgiven you.
Okay.
Now,
And
granted,
then
you can't just use it as like an insurance policy,
right.
though. Like, you actually do have to meaningfully believe it and at least attempt to walk in that light, because there's no possible way for a human to be perfectly down that path. So that's why the forgiveness part is so important, because there's nothing that we can do that gets us there. That's why accepting the fact that we aren't perfect and the why and accept the fact that the sacrifice was for us to be able to bridge that gap.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah.
So who runs heaven and who runs hell, and what do they look like?
Hell is run by the devil and his
Okay,
army of demons, and heaven is run by God and his army of angels.
okay. And then, what would you say a day in the life in like both heaven and hell? What would each of those look like?
Um, for hell, imagine the worst pain possible, and then multiply it by infinity. That's
Forever and
what
ever
I
and ever.
imagine. Forever and ever.
Okay, and
No redemption there.
and then what would a day in heaven look like?
Heaven, picture your best day ever, and then take all the things that you wish that best day could would make it even more better, multiply that by infinity, and that's heaven.
That's awesome. And then, so just a few questions about like what heaven, like you would expect it to be like. Like one thing is like, can you interact with other people that don't speak your language? Is it there like a universal language? Do we all speak English, or what is that? How does
Um,
that work?
I think you would probably, if you're communicating with someone, you would just understand them.
Just
Like,
understand them, like
you
whatever.
just
Like
you would understand exactly what they're saying, even if they're probably speaking gibberish or something. Like, I don't think in my opinion, I don't think the concept of language really
it
matters. I think
exists,
it just exists. Like, imagine, like, you ever played a video game and you're like, why is the alien race speaking English?
right? You just kind of
It's
it just
kind of that.
translate. I
It
guess
just
like
auto.
you translate
I
in
would
your
imagine an
hand.
auto. Yeah, I would imagine an
Fair
auto
enough.
translate. Yeah,
And then
yeah.
like, do you think like pets and stuff are there? Like animals can
Yes,
make it to
I think
heaven?
pets are members of your family, and they make it to heaven with you.
Awesome. And then, like, if you're married in on the earth, are you married to that same person in the afterlife? Like, what if you're married to like you have a wife that dies and then you marry again? Are you married to both of those people? How does that work?
Um, I would think that it would be the person that you like, that God intended you to be with. So if your second marriage or something like that is, the way God intended it to be, then I think that's who you would end up with. but I'm not too sure. But that's how I would expect it to be,
Okay.
you know. But like, or like, you know, maybe if you were widowed or something and remarried, like maybe potentially you're there with both of them, and there's like no like issues at all. Like it's just everything's cool, you know.
Right. And
So
then
now also there's another way to get there though. If you are born and don't have the capacity to understand, or you don't live long enough to have the chance to understand God, you would also get to heaven as well. Like for
so we're not
example,
just like damning babies to hell that died like as soon as they were
no,
born or something. We're not
no,
doing
yeah,
that.
yeah, babies or miscarriages.
Yeah.
As once there is a soul, they'll go to heaven if that soul is killed off before it has the ability to have the chance to understand the concept of God.
Okay. Fair enough. And
Yeah,
then the last question about kind of your idea of heaven. Do people look like, if you see somebody, do they look like you want them to look, or do they get to choose how they look? Do you get, or do you have like this? Are you just what you were as you were on Earth? What
I
is kind
think
of your
I
idea
think
of that?
I think you would be the best version of yourself. You know, like whatever you were in your mind's prime. I would
Mm-hmm.
say. You
Okay.
know, so like say that like someone like looked their best at 40 years old or something like that. You know,
They're
but
like
they
that
lived
forever.
but like they lived to like 90. I would imagine that like, you know, their best version of themselves. The I
Nice.
think that would be the
I like that.
yeah.
All right, and then the last question I really got for you is: how does your belief in an afterlife affect the way that you live your life? How does that kind of guide the choices that you make on a day to day basis?
Yeah. I mean, you never know what's going to happen. So, you know, I would never um, take the risk of damaging that connection or risking that because I mean, infinity is literally infinitely longer than our time here on Earth.
For
So
sure.
this is just a segue into that life. So you just got to treat every day like it's the last and make sure that when you do eventually go that you feel like that you actually ended up helping someone get there with you, um, or that you make sure you were not a negative entity on this side.
Very nice. Well, Cole, I do appreciate you answering my questions for me today, taking the time out of your day to do that.
No problem.
But that's all I got for you today, so I'm going to let you go.
Cool. Good luck.
All right.